Hello, America. Heavy Monte here. Welcome to the Heavy Montes podcast and my comedy show. Not America. The Republican Party made statements today. They said that they are trying to jam the Democrats, to accepting their clean, they say, very clean, stop-gap spending proposal. You understand? But the spending proposal that they have is not clean. It's dirty. It's dirty because they won't restore the Medicare for the American people and Medicaid. They won't restore the Obama subsidies that people need to keep their health insurance from going up double. That means if you're paying $700, it'd be $1,400. So that's money in your pocket, America. The Republican Party is costing us money. The American people try to take as much money as they can. Now, in America, they have effectively shut the government down already, and they are in hiding. Mike Johnson told them to look, stand tall. We'll jam them. The Democrats, they'll do it. You see what I'm saying? They'll screw their own people. Not this time. Not this time. The government, America, is going to have to shut down. It ain't worth a damn anyway. And Donald Trump and the Republicans have met their objective. And their objective is to destroy the American government. Now, in America, Heavy Monte is a guy that loves tea. I have a famous teacup from Britain that I have, You see what I'm saying here? And when I lost 135 pounds I told you about, every time I got hungry, I went and got a cup of tea. Rooibos was what I was drinking. Rooibos tea. Now, I'm going to compare the drinking of some real good tea to the garbage that the Republican Party is trying to sell us. You have good tea with honey. You can put a little milk in it. You know what I'm saying? You can drink it. But what the Republican Party is selling to the American people is not good tea. It is garbage. And tea has been used. People went and fought over tea. You know what I'm trying to tell you? Remember they threw all that tea, they say, into the river instead of paying the taxes for the British and told the British to get lost. So America, this is what we need to do to the Republican Party. We need to tell them, America, to get lost. And the reason I say this is because they're trying to BS us. Trying to sell us a poison pill. They're calling it a great, healthy, beautiful bill. There's nothing beautiful about that bill, America. You should read it, the one that they passed. Now they're coming back for some more. Yay! They're coming back for some more. We're crazy. So they just come up there with a great face and they said, let me tell you what's going on with them demos, Democrats. They're trying to take your money and pay for them transgender people. You see what I'm trying to tell you? Scare the crap out of, a lot of American parents, a lot of women out there, them handmaidens. So your daughter got to compete with a man. You know what I'm saying? Them handmaidens said, we vote for Trump. So you got to understand things. You got to talk to people. You know what I'm trying to tell you? They were lying. I ain't had no Democrats come out and say, look, they're lying. Damn well we're not doing no shit like that. The Republicans don't even let you pay, use federal money for abortions for women. You can't use federal money for abortion for women, but they'll lie. Tell everybody, yeah, Joe Biden's spending money on them. So America, the Republicans are notorious liars. It's hard to tell a lie when you're not doing it face to face. They be going on TV lying because they know if they take their behind to a town hall, them maggots will be waiting on them, America. Welcome to the Heavy Monte Morning Show, America. I'll do this show every morning, waking up and try to make everybody happy. happy to the fact that those doggone maggots will be voted out of office. And I know how you feel, America. I know how you feel when your candidate lose, But now we got to get one in there who's going to win. Now, I'm going to tell you a little story. One of my children sang in a choir. And that choir, in Alaska, they sang in several different languages, Russian, Italian. This choir was great. You understand? And I love this choir. And anyway, and it had a Russian instructor too. Did it. And so there's a group of people. I forgot who they were, like Mennonites. They escaped from Russia a long time ago and came to Alaska. Beautiful people. Okay. They, since my family member, my child was a member of the choir, when they had a thing, a dinner or something on an event with ethnic Russian food, you understand? They would invite all the family members. Okay, I couldn't speak none of that stuff. I didn't know, but they were nodding. The food looked good. I ate everything. I kind of knew what Russian food I liked. And Mark Baggage was running for, I think, senator at the time. And he came to the event, because it was open to the public. And he was sitting in the corner, kind of frowning a little bit. And everybody know Heavy loves Mark Baggage. So I saw him sitting over there, and I said, Mark, what the hell's going on here? He said, oh, nothing too much. Just said he was smiling like he does. So everybody know he smiled, his smile. All the people who serve with him, his smile will do it for you. He's just a beautiful man, Alaska born too. And I said, Mark, I said, when you lost that mayor race, that shit devastated our family. And the guy who won it, his name was Fink, Tom Fink. And when the Democrats were out there having these fancy parties, Tom Fink came out and said, I'm going to have a party at Mafia Mike's Pizzeria. Yeah, of course you're nobody. Don't be like those liberals. So Fink did the job, Fink had a better, as a Republican, I think, a better, political machine. He was good at it, what he did. And he should have won. Okay, I think. He beat Mark. Okay? Even though I'm a Mark Baggage fan. And Tom Fink, he was a so-so mayor. He wasn't that good, in my opinion. But I'm not going to put him down, because we don't put Alaskans down like that. And anyway, Mark became the senator. Okay? And he was the senator at the time. I was talking to him. Okay? He asked me this question. I said, Heavy, how do you feel now? I told him I feel good. I feel real good. You see what I'm saying? And that's the way we want to feel again, America. We want to feel good about our country and our politicians. But no one, somebody told me, can be proud of a president who's a pervert. No one can be proud of a president who has taken away our reputation. Your reputation is all you have. It is worth more than money. Huh? It is worth more than money. What people think of you. You understand? So here I am talking about a politician that I loved, Mark Baggage. You know what I'm saying? Because he is an honorable man. Huh? He's not a liar. Huh? Like we have now. Now I want to go back and talk a little bit this morning about Republicans, what Republicans used to be. In Alaska, everybody knows Alaska is a, Republican state, big oil. Republicans make sure we make a bunch of money off that oil. And the more oil we sell, the more money come back to the people in Alaska. So I'm voting Republican. I never voted against Ted Stevens, okay? His office was right by my office, by the computer room. You know what I'm saying? I had an office on the first floor. My boss, worked right by him. So I was there all the time, hanging out, And Senator Stevens, you see him in the dang on supermarket with no damn bodyguard. You know what I'm saying? You can walk up to him and say, hey, what's up? I looked over and his wife was sitting two seats down from me in church. I'm trying to tell you. So I'm voting against him. Don Young hung out at the Fly By nightclub. You Alaskans know what the Fly By nightclub It's Heavy Monte. Sarah Palin. Shit, you see Sarah Palin sitting there partying with the boys at the Fly By Night. You know what I'm saying? Mr. White Keys, spam tones. You know what I'm saying? Talking about some spam. A real America. And Don Young was the official state freaking congressman. An honorable Republican. You understand? I was the only Democrat around. So what they did to old Heavy, they said, oh, Heavy, they always messing with me. You know what I'm saying? All my friends are Democrats. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Republicans. All right? I'm talking friends that, like, I would die for right now. Okay? See? Plus, my best friend had the biggest fishing boat in Alaska. He couldn't drive a car with a dam, but he had a good boat. So anyway, I'm telling you the story because the Republicans back then, Ted Stevens, Don Young, you understand? You know, Mark Baggs, a Democrat. You see what I'm saying? All of these people were honorable freaking men. You understand? When my Republican friend beat me in an election, I shook his hand. What can I do to help you? You know, give me something like hugging a tree. You know, I'm a liberal tree hugger. You know what I'm saying? I'll buy him a little thing. Talk to him and see if I can get him to do that. And he loves me, that Republican. And he'll say, okay, you can work on that little stuff, help me. That's what a Republican's supposed to be. That's what a Republican used to be. I told the story about one of my heroes, George Herbert Walker Bush. He jumped out of a helicopter on the back. And you can check this out. When he's an old man, he's on the back. My unit, they got pictures of this stuff. And he jumped. And he sit over and talked to the President of the United States. Came over to the soldiers. And shook our hands. And sat down and ate the food we ate. George Herbert Bush. I don't think I ever seen Donald Trump do that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I ever seen him do that. You know? These were honorable men, and they screwed up in Alaska. You know, the Republican pen. If I had it, it's in there somewhere. I can get it short to you. I put on the Republican pen. My friends tried to steal it, right? They ain't no Republican. Because I went to their dinners, and I heard them speak. And getting back to Mark Baggage, you know, Mark Baggage, just because he was talking to me, and the people saw him talking to me, the Russians, women, because the women make all the food, there wasn't hardly men around there. I was the only man there, I think. There was nothing but women, you know, children and stuff there, and people from the public we didn't know, but I wouldn't have any men. And they saw him talking to me, and they walked over and started talking to him. And he was able to, you know, talk to those people and say, vote for me. I'm your senator. To Heavy Monte. Now, I'm trying to tell you, that's not something that we talked about. That's not something that me and them discussed. You know, it just happened. I saw it with my own eyes. You know, I saw him happy and talking to these people. And I walked away. Because they had to get some food. Boy, they got some desserts. I got some pictures to show you guys. They have Christmas parties, right? The Russian Christmas. Beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Language. You understand? You know, those people escaped that damn place. They're so happy. You know what I'm saying? They come to America. You know what I'm saying? That's the same thing to Hispanics. Them people happy. Man, let's embrace them people and make them citizens. Get as many as we need. You know what I'm trying to tell you? You know? Get as many as we need. Heavy Monte is here saying he wants as many Hispanics to come as possible. You know what I'm trying to tell you? But I want to say something to you, America, and I think they'll make the country better too. you know. You will fight for your flag. That flag right there. You see? That flag means something. It should mean something to everybody. It should mean that you should love your neighbor. You know. Heavy Monte says it's time for us to come together. There's a time for me. I'm gonna keep calling you a MAGAT down. You know, until you register as a Democrat, you will be a MAGAT. You can't be hanging out, you know, with somebody like Donald Trump. You're talking about he a pedophile, and you hanging out with him. And if you have a church minister, okay, and he told you to vote for Donald Trump, fire him. Fire him. You ask him the question. You say, look, you said Donald Trump is going to make things great again. You didn't see that Donald Trump will try to outpace Satan. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to be a bigger devil than Satan. He's already a bigger liar than Satan. You see what I'm saying, America? So you Republicans need to come on board. Now, Heavy Monte, I'm making some flyers up. I'm having the Heavy Monte National Registration Drive. We, at the Heavy Monte YouTube channel, we are trying to get the Republican registrations down to zero, trying to win the election fairly before it starts. Because if they don't have any Republicans, they won't be able to vote. You know what I'm saying? It'll be just Democrats. You know? So you know, and it'll push them off. Right now, they did you wrong. If they took your snap, make sure you vote. The 95 million Democrats that said that didn't vote, vote. Huh? We can't be messing around. But Donald Trump ain't playing. He brought back the fugitive slave trade, picking at women. Shit. You know what I'm saying? He sent the Confederate Army from South Carolina to Washington, D.C. You see what I'm trying to tell you? He did that shit. And so right now, stuff is so comical that it's hard. It is very difficult, you know, to be able to, you know, withstand all the pain and suffering that they're bringing or trying to attempt to bring upon the American people and their voters. So this is Heavy Monte in closing of my morning show, saying to the American people, let's bring some pain and some suffering to the Republican Party by making them unemployed. You know, because I told you, those congressmen, they make $174,000 a year, six figures, and some kickbacks, as they say, you know, from other stuff, food and stuff like that, you know, travel, you know, reimbursements, all that. They get all of that. Let's cut it off, America. Let's fire their ass. And also, they're saying, the Republicans are saying, they say, look here, these people are so stupid that we're going to gerrymander. What the hell? Let them gerrymander, but don't vote for them. Don't vote for no Republican. Go progressive. Go all the way to the left. You know, you're driving down the street, don't even turn right. Just go left. Heavy Monty will be waiting on your ass to let you know. Huh? We don't play. Give Democratic power, the Democratic Party, the power, America. Huh? We can't do anything because we don't have any power. And when we do have power, we try. We say, the true Christians, the Democratic Party, say we're all Americans. You know, we all need hospitals. You need hospitals in a small town, huh? Don't tell nobody don't come to a small town. You know, people are afraid. You know, like a black man gonna walk into a small town with sunglasses on, an all white small town, right? And start some shit. You get your gas and get the hell out of that town and say, what the hell? I don't even want to stop here. Shit. You know what I'm trying to tell you? And they're telling you that, you know, in a small town. Now, in a small town, I lived in a small town in West Virginia. These white guys were shooting up the damn place. Let me tell you something, man. There was a little city right outside my town in West Virginia, Mount Morris. Look it up. Mount Morris had nothing but bank robberies. They robbed a bank every freaking day. So there's a supermarket across from the bank. And I went to the junkyard, you know, because Heavy don't like buying new cars. My shit would fall apart, lights would fall apart, I can't get parts. So I went to the junkyard to get together some parts for my Jeep, because I don't drive nothing else but Jeeps. You know, I got a new one now, but, you know, back then I was trying to get as much juice out of that Jeep as I can, because my wife would tell you, I drive a Jeep for 25 years, 30, you know what I'm saying, until the engine fall on that sucker. You know what I'm trying to tell you. And so I went to get the parts. And I went to the junkyard, and the junkyard closed in West Virginia. All it says is take your ass in there and get what you need and leave the money. You know what I'm saying? And they got cameras around and stuff. So I went and I got the part, and I put it on the table, and I said, look, I'm not going to take this part, man, because I'll be stealing. You know, people out there come back. And they'll send the cops to get your ass in a little small town real quick, you know, if they think you're stealing some shit. So I went back to the bank, and the bank's locked up. And the lady told me, she said, you can't come into this bank. I said, what do you mean? She said, because, you know, we get robbed all the time and we don't have an ATM machine. So we got to take a picture of you or some shit or whatever you got to do. We got to make sure you're a local. I wasn't a local. There wasn't no white people in that town, Mount Morris. Look it up. It's online. You get bank robbed all the time. Okay, the bank get robbed, and so I had to go over to this little store to an ATM machine, and I was scared to freaking death because you get robbed. So I'm getting the money real quick so I can take it back and get my part and put it in a little box. So I did that, right? And I had to go to that bank a couple of times, you know, because after they knew I was a local and shit, they let you in the bank one at a time. They got bars around that sucker, and they still rob it. They start robbing service stations too. White owned white crime. It's horrific. You understand what I'm saying? Especially our young white males. They're putting our young white males in jail the same way they did black people. You know what I'm saying? They all been doing it. You know what I'm saying? But it's just under the radar. Come on, we got to do something to help our young white males. And black males. I say young Americans. See, I don't like to use the race shit, but young people need help. You know what I'm saying? For us adults, we don't be giving them freaking automatic weapons and shit. What the hell? You stupid ass Republicans, huh? Education, love. Take your children around black people and mix up and stuff like that. That's what my mother did. Okay, huh? Last story. Yeah, I went to an elementary school called Carbon Edwards, all black school, little tiny school. Had the best freaking teachers in the world. You understand? Plus, my mom had a belt. She'll whoop your ass if you didn't make an A. If you come home with a C, you had to stay in the damn house for 6 weeks until you get your shit back up. And she didn't like B's either, you know? So I was making real good grades because I didn't want to ask for it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, um, they came up with something in South Carolina, when the Civil Rights Bill was passed. They said, we need to take and we need to, integrate. But right now in South Carolina, we just saying, let these black kids just go to school. We'll give you a choice. You have a choice if you want to. If you have a choice to go to these white schools, black people, you can. So I went home. My mom, she told me the bad news. She said, you going to the white school. I said, Mama, I ain't going to the damn white school. I said, I haven't talked to my grandfather about this shit. My grandfather whipped on my ass, right? They had telephones there. He said, your ass going to the school, son. You need to go to this damn school. So I went to a school. I graduated from the elementary school, and I went to a little school called Shakora. Okay, it's a middle school, white middle school, right? Man, no, white people were cool as hell. You know what I'm trying to say? Seriously. I'm saying cool. Young, shit, cool. All the women was all over me. You know what I'm saying? So I said, damn, the kids, the white world all over me, right? Got to the point that the black girls were fighting. They said, shit, Heavy ain't talking to nothing but white girls. I wasn't talking to them. I was having fun. So I was caught in the middle, caught the trap. But I didn't hold back. I had a great time. Played football. Became a great football player, right? And then I went to a high school called, I'm going to say this high school, alumni, North Charleston High. Played football. You know what I'm saying? Our basketball team won the national championship. Okay? State national championship. Okay? Got pictures to show you. You know what I'm saying? And the big ass trophy. Okay? And so what I'm trying to tell everybody, my mom and my grandfather sent me to those schools. And you know what? I made A's. Got the record? I'll show it to you. Made A's in those white schools. And North Charleston School, high school ain't no joke. Shakora ain't no joke. So the first test we took was an English test, okay? And the teacher, when I got to North Charleston, all the blacks in that class, I ain't lying now, made something like, if you made 100, they made 20. You know what I'm saying? I made 88 on this test, okay? And what happened is they had to do what they call a curve. So my grade went up, real fast, and they had to do something to get the black stuff and stuff. And after a while, all the blacks, shit, hell, we have black folks, man, excelling in that damn university. That high school. And the whites and the blacks in that high school back then loved one another and loved one another right freaking now. Democrats and Republicans. Mm-hmm. I have Republican friends in South Carolina that voted for Trump. I put my relationship before that shit. I said, hey, I love my friend. Even though he messed up, I don't mention it to him. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's my friend. You understand? He made a mistake, or I'm not gonna question him about that shit. That's between him and God, who he voted for. Just don't do that shit again. You know what I'm saying? After you find out what the hell's going on. So this is the Heavy Monte Morning Show, a real good story, telling everybody that this is a great country. You understand? You know what I'm saying? Love your neighbor. You know what I'm saying? Black and white, Hispanic, gay, straight, whatever. Love people. You know what I'm saying? No, and I'll stop calling you maggots when you meet my test. Register as a Democrat. And please subscribe to the Heavy Monte YouTube channel. Good day, America. Have a great day. And love one another. But never, ever vote for a Republican.